Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Esports Report update. I'm Chris Puckett, and now it is time to talk with Parasite from Curse Las Vegas. He went to Optic for a moment, but now he's back on Curse Vegas, and he is looking so good currently, 7-0 with his squad in the Winter Invitational. Chris, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great, man. Just looking forward to playing our matches and the rest of the Winter Invitational. It's going to be good fun.
So talk to me about this so far, because we handpicked the best teams in Call of Duty to face off against each other in this Winter Invitational. It spanned playing with teams playing basically every day, if not every other day. You guys have 7 wins so far, 0 losses. Who's been your toughest competition so far?
Our toughest competition, and in all honesty, no bias, was Curse New York. They gave us a good run in the 2K last night, and in our league matches, they did the same. We went to final map, the final map in a best-of-5 series versus Curse New York both times. Envious also gave us a good run and took us to the final map. We won like 6-4 or something. So, both those teams so far have been our best competition. Optic also put up a good fight versus us. We beat them 3-1. However, some of the matches were extremely close.
Yeah, I was watching that series.
Yeah, we were real close to losing at one point in that Domination Octane, which was arguably our best map. So, yeah, that's our biggest competition as of now, at least in the Winter Invitational.
Now, you guys are getting the wins, but it seems like, as just a viewer who's tuned in for some of your matches, that there's always quite a bit of discussion and almost some arguments amongst the teams.
Yeah.
Tell me about this, and what is it like playing on this Curse Las Vegas squad? And is that argument is that something that you guys purposely do because you're trying to improve the strategy?
The whole arguments, they're not really a part of the strategy when we play. We don't really intend to argue. It kind of just happens because we're all so passionate about the game, and we really don't like losing. So it's a struggle sometimes, in all honesty. Sorry, I had to get something from the door.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. You sit down on the couch here for a second. So yeah, we don't intend to argue. However, it does happen occasionally, and I think it's another factor that's kind of played into that is the fact that we've been playing Call of Duty for about 24 hours in the past 2 days. Like, that's a pretty insane amount. We've been going hard, scrimming a lot, playing in the Winter League, playing in the 2K, and it just kind of it gets us in a very irritable mood, especially if things aren't going our way. But yeah, we don't really intend to do that. We do try to fix our mistakes as fast as possible, even if it means raging at each other, but we don't try to.
Well, it seems to be working out whatever you guys are doing. Of course, you have 3 of the 4 members of the Freako Impact squad that won Call of Duty Championships last year. You guys have your first qualifier for that coming up on Saturday, February 1st. How confident is Curse Las Vegas entering that qualifier?
We're pretty certain that we'll qualify, unless, some interferences go on, like, let's say, host booting and stuff like that. But other than that, we should be fine. I don't think we'll have any trouble going up against any of the lower tier teams that will start at the bottom of the bracket, considering we have a high seed. But I'm pretty confident, I guess.
Feeling pretty good about it. Well, you're at the top or near the top in pro points, so you should have a solid seed there. Let's talk a little bit back about the Invitational some more. I got to ask you questions about the second half of teams, as we're seeing FaZe, TK, and a few others, Denial, all at 2-5. What's going on with these squads? Are any of those teams better than their record show?
I think TK is a lot better than their actual record shows. Granted, their team is pretty spread out in terms of like where they live. So whatever host they play on, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot by putting most of their players at a disadvantage. They're a lot better on land, in my opinion. However, with the exchange of Formal and Neslo, I think that kind of hurts their teamwork. Formal is a very, very, very talented player. However, I think Neslo just had that chemistry with him, and he was that vocal leader as well in a lot of those situations. And I think them lacking Neslo will actually hurt them a little bit. I'm not sure how they'll overcome that. Maybe Sharp will take the lead. However, I think that's putting them at a deficit.
Wow, so losing Neslo, in your opinion, not the best of moves for TK. On
Nope.
paper, you got to love the idea of bringing Gunjar back, but
Oh, yeah.
as you said, you're missing the in-game leadership, which is so important.
Mhm.
Denial, of course, this squad filled in for Complexity when Complexity was unable to continue in the Winter Invitational. This squad is off to a rocky start, but I tuned in yesterday to quite a bit of their streams, and Flawless does a fantastic job as an in-game captain. They announced last night, I believe, though, or 2 nights ago, that they're parting ways with Assassin, another team in flux when it comes to the roster, trying to nail it down for this Saturday. How good is this Denial squad currently, and do you think they'll improve much in time for this first qualifier?
Well, the fact that they made a roster change, in my opinion, is not the well. Honestly, I think it's the best idea for them because their roster clearly wasn't clicking. When I watched them play or even played against them, they didn't really play too well. They didn't really put much of a fight. No offense to them, they just didn't work well together, and I think they needed some sort of change. Hopefully, they can find somebody that fits their play style. Uh, I honestly don't really know too much about them in terms of like how good they are, how they do versus other teams because we rarely play them. But uh, their roster wasn't working with whoever they had, Assassin and Twiz, Flawless and Fizzer. But I think they did need a change. I'm not sure if Assassin was the right one to remove, but they did need something because their roster wasn't the best, I guess.
Well, tonight they play at 6 o'clock versus Curse Las Vegas, you guys. So we'll see what they have in store for that matchup.
Yep.
And then finally, your last match of the night tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, you face off against Envy, who is quietly sitting at number 3 with a 4-1 record. They haven't had a whole lot of matches to play tonight. They have 2 more, one of them against you. How good is this squad that has basically exploded twice since the Winter Invitational started? Of course, it's Rambo, Merc, Study, and Nameless now on this squad.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I kind of learned from playing them the first time is that they are a close range map. Like they're really good at close range maps, which is kind of odd because past Envious rosters had really dominant assault rifle players. They had Proofy, they had JCap, they had I can't remember anybody else. Goonjar at one point was on there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like their team used to be kind of dominant on longer range maps, and you wanted to force them on close range maps. However, now that they have Study and Nameless, I think they're very, very good on close range maps now. So it's kind of like you're flipping the strategy on that team, and I think it throws a lot of teams off because when we played them, Strike Zone and like Octane and Sovereign, they're usually are better maps, I guess, out of the pool of dominations because they're close range, and we have very strong submachine gun players. However, they vetoed the longer range maps, and we were like, why? And then we played them, and they beat us on Strike Zone. So we just we were kind of mind blown at that point.
Gotcha.
We were like, oh, they got that aggression now. I see what they're doing. And so we just ended up beating them at the end of the match. But yeah, so they got a lot better, and I think they're gonna put up another good fight versus us, and maybe even take it. Who knows tonight? So be on the lookout for that match. Hopefully you guys watch.
I love it. Well, guys, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, I'll ask Parasite about the 2K series. Someone has another 2K crown. We'll be back after this.